Uh, I just because I checked your right. Okay. Right. Okay. Like hope you all can hear me, right?
Yes,
Like,
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
okay. And also I sent a mail to Mr. Myron about this presentation. So I think you will get this presentation.
Yes, we got.
Yeah,
He will
sir, we just got it.
okay, because he will be distributing to you. So that's it. So I think like you are now settled in with the session because last day we just discussed about the behaviorism, I guess. Is it? Yes. We done about the behaviorism. So today we are going to learn about cognitive learning theory, because when it comes to human learning, there are different learning methods, right? And different learning methods are having different principles, actually, principles, right? Because the when it comes to behaviorism is all about monitoring the behavior, and everything is coming from externally. That is the behaviorism is all about, right? But when it comes to the cognitive theory, the main focus or the principle is the this is it. That means it is all about mental process, right? Mental process uh, involved in learning. That means like mental process means like it is normally telling. In other words, if I say it is explaining why the brain is most important network. That means mainly cognitive theory is about your brain activities, right? That means how the information is processing inside your brain, right? And based on that information processing and interpretation only, you are learning. That is the main theory behind the cognitive principles, right? Because in behaviorism, it is a different thing, right? In in behaviorism, it is another one because in behaviorism, what is happening is like a teacher is always there, then also you are observing their behavior, and if it is good, you are not going to do anything, but if it is not, the behavior that you are expecting, you are using what punishments, and you are going to reduce that behavior, or like remove that behavior. That is the main idea. That means the external kind of a stimuli is there for learning, right? External stimuli is there for learning, right? It can be a reward, it can be a punishment, but it is external cue, actually external cue, right? Or stimuli, right? But when it comes to the cognitive learning, main thing is always in cognitive learning, teacher has to always believe that the everything, information processing and everything is happening inside the child's brain, and rather than anybody is telling, the human himself has the power to understand what they have to do, right? What they have to do. So that is why they are telling, let them to process and let them to interpret and understand, right? Let them to see the things, observe the things, let them to categorize those things, or forming a generalization to make sense of the information provided. As an example, like in cognitivism, one of our main teaching is let the students learn from the previous experience, right? That is one of our main teaching technique. That means let the student to learn from their history, right? whatever the thing that they are having about on their history, like whatever the thing, let them to um, just understand it, right? And you are also doing it every day because you all are human, so you are also learning every day. You are sometimes observing the same behavior, right? Observing the same behavior. As an example, if I say cunning people, right? Cunning people, how you are going to get it, right? Because you are observing them, you are understanding how they behave, right? They are not looking at your face directly, right, when they are speaking. So then one person is there, one particular person is there, you are observing him and you are understanding how, okay, this kind of a thing, and at the end of the day he done this kind of a cunning thing. So after that, the next time when you are that means meeting another person who is having the same behaviors, you are categorizing them as what, a cunning person, right? Because your brain is processing and understanding how, okay, if these behaviors are there, he's having, and also as teachers, you know, as a, that is your cognitive behavior comes to front. As an example, you know, sometimes you are asking from kids like, do you want to go to washroom, right? Why you are asking that? That means not based on the behaviorism you got it, right? You are not based on the behaviorism. Sometimes based on what? You have some cues are there, like you are always thinking, okay, he's not comfortable in seating and he's not hearing whatever the thing that you are telling, then you are understanding he's having something kind of a problem. So you are asking that, right? Likewise, the mental process of learning, right? That means through the mental process here, but the main thing is, main assumption is, this is the main assumption, learning results from internal mental activities, right? But if I ask from you about the behaviorism, what was the main principle? Have you remember that? Behaviorism?
That whatever the behavior, it's always
Action.
something observable.
Observable, and is it coming from internally or externally?
No, it's
It's a
only what you
stimulus
see
when
from
you
outside.
test. It
Could
needs
be
a stimulus.
condition.
Is it a stimuli? That means your child is learning it, or behaviorism is all about like you are teaching them. That means are you going to give the child an activity and to learn themselves, or are you going to show them how to do it?
Show them.
Show, everything is controlled.
Show.
Yeah, you are going to show them like how you are going to do those things, right? And also you are always observing, are they doing it correctly or not? That is all about what? External imposed stimuli, right? That means you are externally imposing them. Do it. If you are not doing it, this would happen, right? Externally. And but in this one, cognitive learning, it is all about what? Internal mental activities. Internal mental activities. So that's why some of the teachers are telling, this student do not have the ability to cope up the pace of grade 2, grade 1, right? That is because of, not because of behaviorism, that is because of you are following cognitive theories, right? If you are a teacher who is following behaviorism, you will tell, no matter any student, I can make them great, or I can make them a bright student. Because why? In behaviorism, you are thinking all about what? No matter he's a damn fool or any kind of a, like what is the brain development that they do have. You are not thinking about anything. You are thinking about only one thing. What is that? If I can control their behavior, I can make them what? A bright student. Understood what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Behaviorism is all about that. But cognitivism is all about what? You are not thinking, you are not trusting like by controlling their behavior, I can teach them. No. Because if you are thinking as a teacher, if you are thinking cognitive abilities are very far more important than the behaviorism, then you will tell what? those kids need to have the proper level of mental stability in order to comes to this level, right? Understood what I mean, right? Hope you can hear me, everybody, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And I'll tell you another good example. Good example. Today we are going to talk about it. Another good example is like when you are, because as I'm an educationist, like in the degree level, so higher education, I'm always following three major things in different stages of the students. Like as an example, for first year student in their assignment works, I'm always telling like your assignment is all about search and present, right? Search and present. Don't do anything else. Understood? Sorry, before the first year. Sorry, before the first year, I'm telling search and present, whatever the thing. And I'm always marking them based on what? Their presentation. Can you present it properly? That's enough. It can be a table, it can be a graph, or it can be a chart, no matter what. But can they present to me in a kind of a proper way? That is the only indicator I'm checking. But when you come to the first year, second semester, I'm telling your assignments need to have two indicators now. Before it is one indicator, search and present. Now two indicators. What is that? Search and present. And also you have to analyze. Understood what I mean? Analyze. From the analysis, what I'm expecting is understand what is the situation, right? That means you are analyzing it, but don't do anything else, right? Because still you are in first year. Present, analyze it. You whatever the presented idea, just analyze it. That's all, right? But when you go to the second year, we are telling them you have to present, you have to search and present, analyze them, and interpret them. Interpret them means what? Just tell me how you identified it. No matter what its analysis is, I can find like you analyze like most of the people are having as an example in Sri Lankan situation. If I tell in the first year, I'm expecting from them, if I tell about the Sri Lankan situation, they will tell about like, okay, Sri Lanka is having this much of a population and these are the leaders in Sri Lanka and the political situation is like this. But in the second year, that means in the analysis phase, I'm just expecting from them, do you think that there are some generalized problems are there, right? What are the common problems you identified? But I'm not asking from them, what is your personal ideas? But the second year, I'm expecting from them what? Okay, interpret, interpret, interpret. And final year, we are always expecting from the students evolution, or that means, sorry, evaluative writing as well as reflective writing. What is that? In your second year, you may tell like these are the problems are there. No matter, that is your second year. But final year, you are more intelligent than that. So final year, we are expecting from you what? Guideline, framework, right? What are the future developments can be, right? Those all things are coming from where? From your brain by evaluating and what? And reflection, right? That is your own reflection, right? You are reflecting like whatever the things you found from the findings, and you are reflecting and you are finding out, okay, this is my view, right? Understood what I mean? Several
Yes, sir.
stages, but those several stages we are using to find out how your brain is working stage by stage, right? So that is the same thing that in your early childhood as well you are doing, right? So I think you get a small idea about what I'm telling about that mental activity. Is it?
Yes, sir.
Anybody who couldn't understand it, what I'm telling? Anybody? No questions, is it? Okay, good. Right? And also, the learner comes with the knowledge, skills, and related experience to the learning situation. That means, like, that means, like, teacher is always thinking what learner is having nails, bolts, hammers, scissors, all those things. That means learner has all the tools, and also learner knows how to do those things, how to use those things, but learner doesn't know how to build a chair. That's all. Understood what I mean? Right? That is all about, like, teacher doesn't need to teach them how to use the scissor, right? They knows how to use the scissor, right? They knows how to use the what do you call, the nails, and how to use the hammer. They knows it, right? When they are coming to the learning situation is your classroom. When they are coming to the classroom, they already have the knowledge. They already have the knowledge and skills, right? So then you don't have to bother about how to, that means you don't have to nurture them, how to use those things. Rather than that, what you have to do is very easy job. You have to give them some activities which what improves their knowledge, that's all. Or enhance their knowledge, that's all. Right? Understood or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is the whole thing.
Yes,
So
sir.
now always just think about, like, the behaviorism is what? If it is a behaviorism, when the students are coming, you are thinking those people are totally blank. They don't know how to use the ruler. They don't know how to use the pencil. They don't know how to use the pastel, right? So then you are letting them to use it for the first time in their life. Now you are not going to have that kind of a problem, because if the cognitive learning you are practicing, you have to assume that the kid that is come to your classroom already knows how to use the pastel, already knows how to use the pencil, already knows how to use whatever the thing that is building blocks, right? Okay?
Sir, can I interrupt you, please?
Yeah.
Okay. Sir, now you said they already know how to use all these things you're saying, but
Yeah.
for the first time for them to know also, they would have been taught how to do, right?
No, actually, that's what I said, that observing, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, can. Observing, categorizing.
Observing. That means when they are kid, their father or mother or somebody is using it, but actually they are not instructing to use. But what they are doing is they
On
are
their own. Okay. Right. Okay, sir.
observing,
Okay, thank
and they, for their brain, they are understanding. Pastel is all about this. That's it. Understood
Okay,
what I
thank
mean?
you, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's why
Thanks.
most of the time, like, you are like, I know most of you are mothers, like then your kids are sometimes, when not your children, like the students, I'm talking about your kids even, like sometimes you have some ideas, like when they are having pastels in their hand, like what they are going to do is they are drawing in the on the wall, right, rather than on the piece of papers, right? Because what they are doing is they observed and they understood pastel can paint or draw something. That's all, right? They don't know how where to draw, right? They don't know where to draw it. That's why then the behaviorism comes to the action. Then your cognitivism is about the pastel can draw, but behaviorism all about pastel can draw, but not on the walls, but on the piece of papers. That's all. If you are drawing the same thing, the same pastel, if you are drawing on the wall, you are punishing them. If you are drawing on the piece of paper, you are what? That means you are praising them. That is good picture, that is best picture, and all those things. But if the kid is doing the same on the ball, you are telling don't do it, right? So two things. That's why I said like cognitivism is all about understanding this tool can use to do this thing, but behaviorism is all about how to control it. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then, so it is about this and role of the learner, active participant in learning process using various strategies to process and construct their personal understanding of the content to which they are exposed. That's what I'm again telling. For early childhood education, one for best example for this is what? Building blocks, right? You can give them building blocks and we are telling them, okay, you can build something. Sometimes you can tell, particularly, you can tell them, okay, build a house, right? Build a house. Then what they are doing is they are using their various strategies, right? Various strategies to what? Construct whatever the thing that you are telling, right? Sometimes some of the kids will use all the building blocks. Some of them will use only half of them, right? Some of them will build two flat houses. They are trying to build two flat houses. Some of them just build a small house, right? And you would think that why some of them are using one flat and some of them are using two flats. The main thing is about what? The knowledge. Knowledge is about an active mental process to retrieve, that means, sorry, to receive, store, and retrieve whatever the information you seen or experienced before, right? Understood? As an example, if you are having a one-story house, right? One-story house, one-floor house, then most probably your kid, that kid would build one-floor house, because when they are hearing about a house, their image about a house is one-floor house, because the thing is he's living in there, so his experience is about one-floor house. So he is not ever going to think about like two-floor houses. But when it comes to a kid who is in a two-floor house, right? Maybe he would comes to you and complain, you teacher, I have the building blocks enough for one floor, but I need to have another floor, so I need more building blocks. Then you have to understand, okay, this person had been seen his imaginaries about a house is two floor, because his previous experience about a house is two floor something. Understood what I mean, right? That is a personal understanding, like how it is going to be, right? So based on that, you are using your strategies, right? Okay. So for the behaviorism here also, this is also comes up with the different psychiatrists, right? Started from Piaget and Bloom, very important person to you as teachers, Bloom, and Brunner and Ausubel, right? Those are the four people, right? And they focused on different cognitive conditions, right? That is the most fascinating thing. They focus on different cognitive aspects. We'll see from one by one. Jean Piaget, he had been came up with, but he told, like if you have the slides, like you can, this slide would important to your examinations, right? So I'm just telling, like for the examinations. So because of that, if possible, just highlight it, right? Just highlight it. It would be important to you. That's right, right? Okay. So he said 4 developmental stages in the cognitive process. He said like any kid is having 4 stages, right? When it comes to the cognitive learning, 4 stages learning is there, development stages. First stage is what? Sensory motor. sensory motor, understand his environment through the basic senses, right? That means just think about a toddler, how they are understanding the environment, right? How they are understanding the environment. That is the first time in their life they are touching a solid surface, soft surface, right? Rough surface, right? The first time they are seeing how the what we call mm, uh, that means like flowers are what is that, what is the shape of a flower, right? Colors and all those things. So that's why
Yes.
sensory motor stage, it is about, right? That means giving them an environment through the basic senses. Basic senses means like the fragrance, right? And the colors by your eyes, and hearing things like music, songs, right? So because sensory motor, that means that in the first stage you are sensing things and understanding this is it. And the second stage is intuitive stage, right? Through more flexible memory and imagination begin to play a part learning, capable of more creativity. Now you can just understand what I'm telling. On the first day itself, in your like early childhood classroom, if you give pastel to the kids, they are not drawing anything that is understandable. They are only just putting rounds and round by their hand, like different colors they are getting and putting things, but there is no any creativity. The problem, the thing is, they are still in the sensory motor stage. What they are doing is they are sensing, this color is that, and if I draw it, this is how it is painting, this is the color it coming in. But then intuitive means what? It is all about your brain is like, if you do not have any experience, your brain is intuition, right? That means guessing and do, right? Try to, like, you don't know what will happen because you don't have any experience about it. So what you are going to do is you are just trying to draw a line, trying to draw a circle, right? So that means still it is, I'm telling like you, I'm telling still it is an intuitive thing because that is the first time that you are doing it. You don't have any experience about it, right? So that is the second stage, and the third stage is about concrete operational. That is what? That is what? That is uh, that is about concrete operational is about like not by age 4 but by age 5, like rather than drawing by in the whatever intuitive stage they are drawing things, but it is not understandable but kind of creative, right? But in the concrete operational level, what they are going to do is they are getting what our teachers are giving, that means pictures that are having outline, right? They're having outline. It can be an apple, but outline is there. Inside, there's no fill, right? There's no fill. And then what you're going to do is, this is an apple, please paint it. Then most of the time, kids are doing what? They are looking for the apple color. They are looking for the apple color. And after they are looking for the apple color, they are getting red. And if you ask from them, why kid you get the red? Then they will tell, teacher, you say to draw an apple? No, apple is red color. So that is what. So now they do have some, what do you call, some imaginations, like, okay, apple is this color, orange is that color, right? So then you are having a concrete operation, not intuition now, right? Concrete operation means like when after that also, if you are telling draw an apple, they are getting the red color. Draw an orange, they are getting the orange color. Why is that? Now in their brain, they are having an image, a concrete image about what? Apple is red color, right? This is blue color, right? Understood? Concrete materials, right? And also, like, not for the kids, like if I ask from you, like You will also have some concrete colors, like not the colors, like concrete imaginations about different things, right? As an example, from adults, if I ask from adults about just draw me a car, right? Draw me a car, like you always draw, that means drawing a car with 4 wheels. Why is that? Because you have a concrete picture about a car needs to have 4 wheels. Understood what I mean? Right? Concrete operation, right? And then formal operation. Formal operation means what? Abstract reasoning. Abstract reasoning means, that means in the world you are getting abstract images, right? Abstract images means you are telling some categorizations are there. If it is a car, 4 wheels. If it is a 3-wheeler, 3 wheels. If it is a bicycle, 2 wheels. So it is your abstract reasoning. You will draw any kind of a bicycle, but if it is a bicycle, only 2 wheels, right? That means that is your abstract picture about a bicycle. Understand what I mean? Like that means, have you got what I mean? Like, I know that is like the time is also sleepy time. Like I'm just telling nonsense, but you understand.
We are listening.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
So there is also another example.
What?
Now children, when you take a long glass and a short glass and pour the same quantity of water, they can reason out that the quantity of water is the same, even though the shape of the container is different. But when it comes to concrete operational stage, the child will think that the longer the glass, the more water it has.
Yeah. Because of the
Yeah,
abstract thought.
that's why support reasoning.
Yes.
They're reasoning to themselves, like, okay, this is it, right? This is it. So here that means like most of the time, like they are learning from different instructions or understandings, right? And then we are going to the accommodation, the process by which we modify what we already know to take into account the new information. That is true. What is that? As an example, right? As an example about like if I get from you about example about that means ladies are having uh, saris and made up saris. Is it? Like all of you are ladies, so it is easier for me to give that kind of an example. You know it, is it? No?
Yes, sir.
Saris and made up saris? No. No.
Yes.
Yes. That means you think about like the first day itself, like when you are hearing about the made up sari, you are always relating it with what? The sari. Is it kind of a sari? Right? Yes, it is a sari, but it is a made up sari. Okay, made up means what? Like, no, you don't have that kind of a, it is convenient. That's all. Right? So that is what? That means like you always relate new information, always connect your new information to your already known information. Kids are also same. Kids are also same, right? What they are always doing is, right? They are telling is, okay, like kid, just you have to draw a bird, right? Then if they never drawn a bird before, they would ask from you directly, Miss, a bird is like a cat or bird is like a dog or something? Like, no, just have this kind of one, right? So if it is a new knowledge, always the people are trying to relate it with the previous knowledge, right? If the previous knowledge is there, then they are very satisfied with it and easily understanding, right? Easily understanding what the teacher is telling. That's why for the teachers we are always telling, like always relate when you are explaining a new theory, new concept, always relate it with what? Previous knowledge, right? Then people are understanding it. And then give a comparison. You know, like camels are this kind of animals, but this is not a camel. Camel is brown color, but this animal is black color. Then they understand, that's it. Okay, okay. Right? And also, if you are telling them to draw a leopard, you can tell them like leopard is leopard is an animal who is very much like cat. Then they could think, miss, is it a cat then? No, no, no. That means leopard is a bigger version of a cat. Okay. And also leopard is having dots, small dots on their back, but cats are not having. Is it? Now they are understanding, okay, this is the difference, but they always relate it. They are comfortable with it. They are not thinking about this is a vast new knowledge. Leopard is not a vast new knowledge, because why? Because they already knows about a cat, and teacher said he is like a cat, but he's bigger. Can you understand what I'm telling? Is it? Right? Always accommodate with them the previous knowledge, then it is easier for you, right? Assimilation. If it is a new knowledge, change, modified, merge in your mind to fit into what we already knows, right? That means when the new knowledge comes in this level, when the new knowledge is come, they always change whatever the thing they learned and then modify it. This is happening when you are teaching them to draw stage by stage. As soon as they comes to your early childhood class at the age 3, you are telling them you have to draw by 2 circles. You can draw a cat by 2 circles, right? And then you are telling them you can add the tail, and these are the 2 eyes and mouth and all those things. That is their first knowledge about the cat. Now, what you are going to do is, in the next stage, you cannot tell them draw a cat by 2 circles. Now you need to improve their drawing skill. What you are going to do? Now you are giving them some modified version. What you are telling them is, don't use circles, right? Cat is having a shape, right? So you can use the same kind of 2, that means 1 shape for the head, 1 shape for the body, but it need not to be circles, right? And then the next stage, you are improving that into a next level. So what is that? You are changing the knowledge stage by stage, changing the knowledge stage by stage, right? As an example, for grade 5 kids, grade 6 kids, when you are teaching science, this one way. But when you are teaching them grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, it is another way. And when they go to A-levels, the same thing they are learning in another way, right? Sometimes A-level kids are telling, whatever the thing that they had been learned in O-levels are wrong. Why is that? Because if the teacher is teaching A-level things in O-levels, what happens? If you are using cognitive theory, there is a problem. What is that? By the age of 16, you are not eligible to understand, or your brain is not ready to understand A-level concepts. Understood what I mean? So that is the same apply to the kids as well, right? For the age 3 kid, their way is different. For age 3 kid, the way is different. Age 4 kid, it is different. Age 5 kid, it is different, right? As an example, for age 3 kid, if you are going to teach them like writing numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, they are not going to do, and they are not going to understand. But if you want to tell them what is 1, you can show them flowers and let them to count 1, 2, 3 likewise. But in age 4, you can tell them, okay, 1 is this, and you are not letting them to write it, but we are showing them 1 is this, but you are not letting them to write it. But in age 5, you are letting them to write it, right? Changing stage to stage, modified the knowledge into different stages, right? Okay, and balance between what is known and what is currently being processed. Mastery of the new material. That is true. How you are going to practice it? Because I'll give you another good example. Right? First, you are letting them to draw in kind of a board, like small boards are there where you can erase it easily, right? I don't know, like there are some boards that you are using, is it in the class? No?
Skateboard or the slates
Slates.
or the
You can
slates.
erase it after drawing it. You can
Smart
erase
board.
it, wipe it.
The slate, the slate.
Slates.
Okay, okay. Then after that, what you are going to do is, are you going to teach them until age of 4 you are doing it, and age of 3 you are doing it, 4 also doing it, 5 also doing it? No, you are not going to do it in that way. When they are coming to age 5, you are telling to their parents or to their mother, like, just send books with no rules, right? No rules. And then you are converting or you are switching the kid from that board to a paper-based material, right? Paper-based material. But again, still you are very but sensitive on how the kid is getting it. So because of that, you are not letting them to get it as a new knowledge. Rather than that, what you are telling is, kid, your board is in white color and you drawn it by a pencil. In this one also, this is also white color. You can use these pencils. But rather than one pencil, now you can draw by different colors. That's all. Understood what I mean? Stage by stage, you are changing their cognitive ability, right? How you can implement it in the classroom, right? So because of that, the most important word in here is learning is cumulative. What is that? Word is cumulative.
Take,
Hmm?
grasp, absorb.
Cumulative? No.
Sir, could you repeat that last line again, please?
Sorry.
Sir, could you repeat what you said at the end?
This slide or before slide?
No. Now, sir, regarding this cumulative, you said a statement and then you asked the question.
Yeah, learning is cumulative means it is like evaluative, like it is adding things one by one. As an example, cumulative score means, I'll give you a good example. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. What is that? Altogether, it is 10. But 1 plus 2, 3, right? And 3 plus 3, 6. 6 plus 4, 10. So your cumulative is what? 1, 3, 6, what? 10. That means stage by stage you evolve, right? You improve. So learning is all about that. First you are teaching them, or first they are learning small thing, and then they are adding some other improving whatever the atomic level that they learn, right? Understood what I mean? That means first they are learning color, then they are learning shapes, and then they are learning how to integrate shapes, and then they are learning how to integrate shapes and draw something a creative one. Understood? So cumulative, stage by stage it is improving, right? Understood what I mean? Right? So because of that, as a teacher, if you are looking for cognitive development of a kid, don't give them big things at first. You have to go for the big thing, but start from a small thing, right? Then the kid is very comfortable with whatever the knowledge that they are getting, right? Stage by stage, step by step. Okay? Got it or not?
Yes, sir.
Understood.
Any problem?
No.
This is what I have been told to you, right? Learners should be assigned tasks that are age and stage appropriate, right? That means age and stage appropriate, right? So because of that, like you need to make sure, like whatever the thing that they are learning, right? You need to make sure that in that level, the kid needs to have the ability to understand it. Because again, I'm going back. According to his theory, he said one stage is there called sensory motor. In that level, don't give them intuitive activities. It is not going to work. First, let them to understand the environment. Then let them to experience things for the first time. Then let them to understand it, reason it, and do things. And finally, go for the real world, right? 4 stages, right? So because of that, you need to make sure, like, you have to give them according to the age. That means I'm just telling about the cognitive development. So based on the cognitive development, the best thing that had been came was Bloom's taxonomy, right? Hierarchical order of the cognitive process involved in learning. We'll go, this is it. This is the Bloom's taxonomy I told you about, like knowledge, first the knowledge, rather than everything. First give them the knowledge, let them to get the knowledge. Through the experience, through the theory, experience, they get the knowledge. And then comprehend the knowledge. What do you mean by comprehend the knowledge? Let them to reason why this knowledge, why this is it, right? Why it is, why we are using these things, why we are using these circles to draw these things, right? Comprehension. Let them to understand it. Then let them to apply, application, and analyze, right? Analyze. Through the analysis, they will find, like, okay, like because of this had been failed. But next time we need to find out, okay, if I'm doing it again, I will fail again. Analysis. And based on the analysis, you are going for synthesis, right? Synthesis means corrective actions. And through the corrective actions, you are doing evaluations, right? Evaluations. Through the evaluations, you can improve, right? That's why we are always telling, like, this is applying not to the kids, not to the degree holders, even the PhD levels. This is same, right? This is same. Okay. Even your when you are doing your assignments, when you are doing whatever the thing in your degree, this is applies, right? Because if you are just doing about the knowledge, most of your teachers could tell you, if you are submitting an assignment with the theories only, we are giving you only pass marks, even not pass marks. The reason is you are in the still the first level in the Bloom's taxonomy, but as a degree holder, we are looking your knowledge as what? Evaluation level, right? You can understand why that means. In any case, I don't know, like in any case, if you are getting low marks, understand, like according to the Bloom's taxonomy, you are getting marks, right?
Yes,
So
please,
because
sir.
of that, like knowledge is about, hello? Anything?
Yeah, sir, could you please just explain once again synthesis? What do you mean synthesis?
Synthesis means, in analysis means, like you are understanding where the things had been gone wrong, where the problem exists, and according to that you are taking corrective actions, right? You are taking corrective actions, kind of thing, right? Got it?
Yeah, yeah, sir. Okay.
Right? That means, like sometimes, like when you are, that means normally we are telling it as what? Yes. That means after analysis, you are finding out these are the problem areas, or these are the problems, and synthesis is about answering those problems. And after answering those problems, again, the answer is not universal. So you need to evaluate that. Is it applying for every location or every situation? only for this particular situation, right? Understood?
Okay, sir.
Right, Bloom's taxonomy, I have an application, I guess, right? Okay, wait, here, rather than going to that I'll explain those two slides, but here, this is it. Bloom's taxonomy, revised, remembering, recalling information, listing, describing, understanding, applying, analyzing, right? Analyzing, what? Evaluating, creating. Creating means new ideas, right? New ideas. So Bloom's taxonomy is about like what? According to the knowledge, according to the he said like here, but learners should be assigned tasks according to their age and stage appropriate. So these are the stages, right? According to the age, they do have stages, right? Knowledge, comprehension, where they are going to apply, right? Okay.
So now which one should we know? The revised one or the one that?
No, this is the one that it is applied to teachers, these two things, right? Because
Okay.
according to Bloom's taxonomy, your question papers are creating like also like
Lesson
whatever
plans.
yes, O-level, A-level question papers, everything is been creating through this one, right? Because that is mostly acceptable theory, right? Theory. Why they had been done, that means revision was, that means in the Bloom's taxonomy, there was a problem like after evolution, there's nothing, right? Your evolution, you are evaluating, that means things, but after that, there's nothing, right? It is good or bad, and that's all. Like if it is good, continuing, but you are not thinking about new knowledge. So because of that, they revised the Bloom's taxonomy. That means the people who are having the creativity, innovative ideas, you need to have the evaluation, and they need to be free to do on in their own, right? As an example for kids, if I tell you, right? If you are every day, if you are telling them what to build, they will build. They will build it, right? But you are doing something a very big mistake. What is that? You are not letting their innovation to comes to play, right? Innovative ideas. So what you have to do is one day you have to give them a challenge. Okay, you have this much of pieces of building blocks. You can build whatever the thing that you want, right? Okay, rather than building blocks, forget building blocks, right? Because my last class there was now she's owning a preschool, right? And she told me like when I'm teaching it, and after that, because I'm happy with that pet, that because of this, because she said after you are telling me, sir, what I have been done was next day he had been going to her kids with pieces of junk wood planks, small wood piece of woods, right? And then given the kids and tell them, okay, build something. She told me, according to her experience, she told me, sir, it is fascinating. Building blocks are well shaped, but these kids had been done marvelous things from, that means wood pieces, because wood pieces are not what level, not finished correctly, so they balanced it. Sometimes the whatever the thing they are constructing totally collapsed, and they again started it, and they build different shapes of castles, vehicles. Sometimes some of the kids have been built different shapes, right? But all those things have been came up not because of the analysis or the evaluation, but because of their what? Creative ideas, new ideas. So to have the new ideas, you need to support them, right? So that is one good example that I just, because according to my teaching experience, I got that kind of a feedback from one student. Now they completed the degree, but she's still doing her Montessori. So she said like from these things, she applied those things in the classroom. So I always telling you as well, don't hear these things because you have to get good pass for your degree. No, not that. Just apply those things in your classroom. Then only you will enjoy. Like I learned something from teacher's degree. Okay. I'm just telling. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. And use verbs aligned to taxonomy to plan lessons. And so according to that, the original taxonomy has now been revised to make provision to new knowledge and skill. That's what I said. Like the previous one, there was a problem with what? Knowledge and skills. So now they do have knowledge and skills, right? So you can see, right? I told you like how it is coming up, right? Remembering, finding names, recognizing, understanding, applying those things, analyze. Okay. And you can see the old version and the new version according to Bloom, right? Older version has synthesis, but new version is having what? After analyzing, you don't have to find out like solutions. Rather than that, evolution can be done, right? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right, the comparison is there, so that's it. Right? I thought you all guys are sleeping, like there was no sound. So
At times, sir.
yeah, the time is the problem, like because I know it, because I'm a person who is teaching psychology, so I know like.
But I am wide awake, sir.
Same here, sir.
Good girls.
Let them to awake.
Yeah, time to time we are waking others up.
Sorry?
Time to time we are waking others, sir. Don't worry.
Okay. Good. And you can see the Bloom's taxonomy and the, like whatever the web applications are there. Like right now we are in the digital age. That's why this is there. So they say like the remembering is about the Google searching and those things, but understanding is about what you are using those applications, and that means you are telling them. But applying means the Picasa is all about good thing, right? Picasa and Google, that means Google Maps, right? And for analyzing, they do have different apps analyzing, right? Google Docs, analyzing, evaluating, Wikipedia, and the creativity. They are giving you what? Best thing is this blogs, right? And this one podcast, right? If you have any creative idea, you can open an account and tell to the world, right? Blogs is all about same, right? If you are thinking like whatever the thing that you are success in your life, something kind of a practice, you can open your own blog and tell those things. Because as an example, if you are publishing it in another website, most of the time they are checking your website and checking your credibility. But if it is a blog, it is your diary. Whatever the thing that you want, you can write it, right? Okay, in the digital age, how the Bloom's taxonomy can be applied, right? Digital age. And Jerome Berners, he is cope up with something called a difference concept, right? Now you remember, now first one had been came up with 4 developmental stages, and Bloom came up with stage and brain level, right? 6 stages. And Jerome Bernard had been came up with what? That means the cognitive skills or development is happening based on what?
Acquisition of knowledge.
Yes, learning strategies, right? That means learning strategies rather than the acquisition of knowledge, right? That means he's telling the teaching approach need to be Encourage to discover solutions for appropriate tasks which require application of relevant critical thinking. That's called puzzles, right? The best way to teach in Bruner's way is what? Give them puzzles, right? Because you have to encourage them to discover solutions rather than you are giving them solutions, right? Rather than teachers giving them solutions, let them to find solutions, right? So then, but when you are going to give them the encouraging them to get the solutions, make sure like you are going up with the appropriate task, right? Appropriate task, because you are not going to create superhumans, right? So make sure like don't give them very difficult tasks, right? Make sure the task is doable, right? Task is doable, right? If it is so, let them to do it, right? Because it is all about what? Critical thinking skills. What do you mean by critical thinking skills? What do you mean by that? Analysis,
Evaluation, analysis.
evaluation, comprehend, right? Observe and analyze, comprehend, right? And so all those things are there. So critical thinking, you need to make sure like if they have skills about thinking, creative thinking, so this is the place where you can just give them, okay? But you need to give them clues, right? You have to give them clues, but let them to do it alone, right? You don't need to forcefully being at the back. That's all, right? He identified like how, yes, rather than that, rather than Piaget's, he came up with another developmental stages. What are those? He came up with, he just enhanced the Piaget's theory with what? An active level, learning takes place via direct manipulation of objects and materials, right? That's why we are talking about the smart classrooms, right? Smart classrooms, let them to do their own, right? Let them to do their own, right? And also, why in the grade 9, 10, 11, why in the science class, most of the time teachers are bringing the kids to the lab?
For hands-on experience.
This is about hands-on experience. Okay, giving the knowledge how to use it is what? Imagination. Students are not getting the, because they are not jumping to the real water. They are seeing how they are swimming in the real water, but they do not have any experience about it. So because of that, what you have to do is you have to put them to swim. So bring them to the labs and let them to use it. So then they are using the objects and materials properly. And also iconic level, visual images are recognized for what they represent, right? And also in the next level, they can go for what? Iconic levels. Iconic levels means, as an example, like after you are going to the lab, next day, you are telling them, draw a diagram, draw a diagram. So they are using iconic diagrams, iconic ones. They are drawing those, that means like containers, tubes in different ways, right? Through the visual images, right? So another level and the symbolic level, that is the most important thing, symbolic level. Learning can take place using symbols, objects, and mental images. Learning is used to represent thoughts and experience. What is the initial symbolic level learning that you have been done and using so far? What were the symbols that you learned in your childhood, but still you are using those symbols in your day-to-day life?
Plus minus.
Washrooms, that is the best thing, right? Because in your childhood only they learn like if a girl is there, that is a girl's washroom. If a boy is there, it is a boy's washroom, right? Up to now also, when we are going to a washroom, we are looking for what? That symbol, right? Is it a boys one or a girls one? Right? So because of what? Because symbol had been given you a mental process. Okay, if this symbol is there, it is it, that is it. And also in your skill you are using what? What are those? Road crossing symbols and traffic symbols. Those things are what? Your symbolic learning, right? Your symbolic learning, right? Hope you got it correctly, right? So how you're going to give them in the teaching, right? Providing opportunities for learning to be actively engaged in making sense of language inputs through meaningful tasks, right? So you have to give them role playing, right? You can give them role playing, right? You can give them different.
What is
Sorry.
it, sir?
Hello.
What is it? What did you say? I can hear.
Role playing.
I
Role
couldn't
playing.
hear. Role play. Okay.
Role play. That means like in the New Year time, like you are giving them.
Yeah.
You are acting as a trader. So
Okay.
tell it. So shout loudly, right? Meaningful task. If you want to be a king, this is how you need to speak.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And providing opportunity to learners to develop ability to analyze the language, generalize about the rules, risk about trying out language, and to learn from errors, right? That the example is about the language learning, so you can apply to anything, right? Whatever the learning possibilities are there, right? So you can talk about like what are the general rules are there, right? As an example, if a merchant has to speak loudly, right? So it is a generalized rule, right? And they can speak out like different wordings, like haven't teach or taught by yourself, up to them, right? Up to them. Some of the kids are there, they are seeing in the television and they're using those words in the classroom, right? Creativity. Okay. Catering for interaction learners with curriculum materials and learning environments. That's true. Curriculum materials means internet, smart boards, computers, right? Digital communication, and all the other things, televisions, like, because give them the learners whatever the things that they are supposed to learn. As an example, like Khan's Academy, right? Khan's Academy website, no?
Yeah.
Best example about the cognitive learning cycles, because if it is a smart board is there, you can use it.
Yeah. So it's more related to like e-learning.
E-learning, it is e-learning, but the e-learning is a concept, but through that e-learning is happening, through the e-learning, the
We use technology.
yes, kids cognitive development is happening, because it is having like counting a number of flowers, putting into the baskets, categorizing the flowers and those kind of things. Automatically, it is about what? Cognitive learning. Okay.
Yeah.
And this person is this Berner's theory. You need to. That means now I think you highlighted about the Piaget's theory, 4 stages, and now Bruner's theory, and he came up with what? 3 modes of thinking, right? 3 modes of thinking. One way is what? Cumulative nature of thinking. That means adding one after the other. That means you are starting from the smallest knowledge and adding and improving the knowledge. Spiral process, right? That's why they are telling what? Reviewing previous learned material even as a new material is introduced. Always what they are doing is they are reviewing, is it related to my previous learning? That's why they are telling spiral learning, right? So now I am coming up to Osterwelder's learning theory. It is about another aspect and very important one. right? Stressed and importance of active mental participation. Active mental participation, right? What do you mean by that? Active mental participation.
That is where the child is allowed to think on the child's own self and then take part in the activity.
Yeah.
Expressing
Whatever
the
the thing right now you are doing active mental participation, because the thing is, most of the time there are different reasons for people to forget. Like as an example, if I may ask from you, why your learners are forgetting things? Why
Because
the people? Yeah.
yeah, either like they have not retained the information properly, or they have not
Because they are not
connected to what they know already in a proper manner,
Okay.
or maybe due to lack
hello.
of concentration.
Yeah.
lack of interest.
Rather than that, yes, lack of interest is one way. Rather than all those things, there are mainly three reasons are there for why the people are forgetting. One thing is fail to pay the adequate attention.
Mm.
Right? That means because of that, what happens is you are first of all, whatever the thing that is going to your brain is having main two parts called STM and LTM. Right? What is that?
Short-term memory and long-term memory.
Long-term memory. So, if you want to get something into the short-term memory, as an example, we are getting it as if you are getting 100% to short-term memory, long-term memory can be get only 50% of that, right? And then think about in your classroom, if you are not paying attention, you are getting very little to your short-term memory. And if you are getting very little to the short-term memory, out of that, another 50% of that is going to the long-term memory, right? So because of that, what is happening? The thing is, like what the David Osabel is telling, okay, you need to have active mental participation. Hearing is not learning, right? Active mental participation means whatever the thing that I'm telling right now to you, asking question is not mandatory, but asking question from yourself is mandatory, right?
Like
Whatever the
interacting,
information,
sir.
yeah,
Is it like interacting with like
yeah. Sometimes you have to interact with your own brain, right? If not, what will happen is you are not paying attention. Means like maybe you will hear everything, right? But if your mental participation is zero, you are not getting anything. That means here there are two words that highlighted: active and meaningful. Why is that? You can be active, but to make things meaningful, you always need to relate whatever the thing that you are having in your brain. Experience can be, theory can be, whatever the thing, you have to ask from your brain, is this person is telling about this? I'm doing it in the classroom, so I think that he's telling about this. Understood what I mean?
Yeah, it's like we have to self-connect the dots.
Actively participating. That's what I said. Like asking a question. Asking a question means if you are having a kind of a doubt, you can ask the question. But active mental participation is all about what?
Our mind processing everything and we
Yes.
trying to analyze by ourselves.
Yes, that's the most important thing, right? Because when you are understanding in that way, your long-term memory is having what? Your memory is having cues, long-term memory cues like clues, right? Based on those clues, you are remembering those things, whatever the time that you want it, right? As an example, the David Ausubel's theory. If you are in the examination, this human learning examination, if you are not remembering about the David Ausubel's theory, but if you can just remember this active and meaningful thing, then you can understand, right, this person is the person who had been told about what active mental participation, right? That means your long-term memory is having those kind of things, right? Because like, like sometimes when you are meeting friends from the school time, at start you don't have anything to talk about, but if that other friend or yourself is getting any artifacts or like something kind of a very good memory, but only do you remember about that classroom, when you are telling only the classroom, your memory is pouring in. Why is that? Because long-term memory, everything is there. But the problem is you need to have what?
Cue
You
to
need to
recall
have
it.
keys. Yes, you need to have keys to open those doors. That's all. Right? So that's why we are telling learning must be meaningful to be effective and permanent. That's why I'm telling, like, to me, permanent, you need to make sure, like, actively you need to get it, right? Uh, Battery, uh, like anybody, if anybody is having a problem with battery, like, my session will be over, another half an hour, like it will go, I guess. I I think you can get the video recording, I guess, right? So anybody who like, if your laptop is having no battery or battery is about to dead, the like you can see the recording, right? Okay. Anybody like having the problem, I don't know, right? And made a distinction between meaningful learning and rote learning. What is that? Meaningful learning and rote learning means what? Another word that means rote learning is about the material to be learned is not integrated or subsumed into an existing cognitive structure, but learn an isolated piece of information. Rote learning. That is totally a new one. It is not that means integrated with any previous learning, right? Any previous learning. Think about that means new subjects you are going to learn, right? New subject you are going to learn that you do not have any clue about this subject area. Then it is a rote learning, right? Meaningful learning about relatable ones, right? So easily integrated ones, existing knowledge. Because if this is it, if it is rote learning, always you need to make sure as a teacher, if you are teaching the student this category, you need to make sure don't ask from them what we call analysis, evaluations at the start. Because rote learning is all about what? First, you need to teach them the knowledge, right? That means based on the definitions, they have to do things, right? As an example, think about the first day that you teach to your kids about mathematics. You are telling, if you see this plus symbol, you need to add two values, right? The rote learning is about what? Plus symbol, because they haven't seen it before, right? Minus, multiplication, division. Because for our whole life, when we are seeing the plus sign, we are thinking it is to do what? Addition. If it is a minus, subtraction. X, multiplication, division. Can you understand what I mean, right? That means rote learning about that, right? Meaningful learning is about relating to your previous knowledge, right? Where you can imply that the implication in the classroom enhance meaningfulness of new materials, increase the chances you've been anchored to already known. That means, what is that? What do you mean by that? Give me an example. Rather than telling it, I can ask from you questions. Anything that, any situation that you use it? What is it?
So, sir, we can use like smart boards and stuff to like show the videos. That will be like a new thing for the child to see during the
Yeah,
lesson.
so that is videos are fine, yes.
Yeah.
And anything else that you can do?
Hands-on?
Hands-on experience, like,
Hands-on activity.
yeah, that means as an example, like what you can do. We get
Experiment
drone.
it and do it.
Sorry?
By doing experiments, they learn.
Yeah, that means what you have to do is first, teacher. What the teacher has to do is every day, maybe the first day, teacher is teaching kids to draw by pastel. Next day, what you can do is you can go up with something else, right, to enhance it, right? And next day you can go up with some digital devices, right? So enhance the meaningfulness, right? Different ways of different new materials increase the chances of, like, they are using the same theory, same knowledge, but using new materials to do things, right? Okay. And very important thing is when you are introducing any new material, new theory or new teaching, make sure it is easily relatable to whatever the thing that they already knows it, right? And new materials need to have what? Sequence facilitated integration, right? The best example I can tell you is what? Your syllabus, your human learning syllabus. If you go through it, first day it is give a brief introduction about all the learning theories. That is the first day. Second day it is about what? Behaviorism. Third day is about cognitivism. Fourth day is about social learning. Next day is about social and cognitive learning. Right? All those things are what?
Like a
Ordered,
sequence.
ordered sequentially. Because why? Because we need to make sure, like, it need to be easily relatable. Whatever the thing that you learned about behaviorism, here we are starting related to that, right? We are not starting from a new knowledge, right? We are relating it. And choose advanced organizers, like you can have, like, that means we are learning those things in the, what do you call, yeah, that means building, that means learning materials, teaching materials, that subject is there, right? So yeah, advanced organizers means like when and where you need to come up with the new materials or new knowledge. That is syllabus actually, right? So all those things are there, right? I'm not going in detail for that. And most important sections now we are coming up. Attention should be given to, right? But the need to organize the structure, meaningful learning activities. First thing is why you need to organize the structure. The main answer is these learners do not have the prior knowledge about new materials. So then you need to organize how you are going to teach them, right? Okay. And also it need to what? It
Be
need
age
to,
appropriate.
yes, age, developmental stage, whatever the developmental stages, right? You need to make sure that all those things need to come up with the proper developmental stage. And also you need to make of what? Lots to what means low order thinking skills to what?
High order thinking
Higher
skills.
thinking skills. That means low order thinking skills means remembering, understanding, but you need to convert your kids from that level to what?
To the higher order, like analyzing, evaluating, and creating.
Yeah, new thinker, right? New skills, new thinker, because the proper knowledgeable person is that, right? Something that is thinking outside of the box, right? So what you have to do is, as a, no matter like you are doing early childhood educator or school middle class educator, middle school educator or high educator, but you need to make sure like your students need to convert from low order thinking skills to high order thinking skills. I told you in my way, normally I'm telling, like if you are doing your diploma, I'm not asking what create new theories, because I know diploma student is in Lux level, right? But from the degree student, I'm always expecting what's high order thinking skills, right? So that's why I told you like sometimes in your assignment works, you are getting lower marks because what? You are still
Of course.
like remembering, understanding, and applying could give the whole marks. No, right? Because you are a degree holder after another year. That's all. Not a year, I think now another months, I
2
guess.
months.
Okay, right? Okay, good. So that is the whole story about cognitivism, right? And I think Mr. Myron already shared with you the materials.
Yes, sir.
And we will have the next session, and I think like he arranged the calendar and shared with you. Also, we'll do it on next day. We are going to talk about the social learning, and I hope like next week, if you want, I can give you the assignment as well.
You have
We
already
got
given
the
the
assignment.
assignment, sir.
Huh?
You have already given, sir.
We've already given the assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do the discussion.
Yeah, it is possible. But if you want to do the discussion, no problem. Next day, next week, after the class, we can discuss.
Yeah,
Because
it's
at
better.
least we need
21st
to-
again. 21st Tuesday, sir.
Okay, no problem. That means 21st. Okay. And after the lecture, that means after lecture finish, in the same time itself, we'll discuss, because then we already knows about 4 learning theories, so you can start your assignment without any problem. And I'll give
That
you
is also
another.
evening, sir.
Sorry.
That is also evening, sir.
Yeah, anything, I don't know, like because that is up to you, up to your preference, and make sure like you all are coming, because I'll type the content page and what are the things that you have to write, and I'll put on the screen so you can just get it, right? So follow the structure and you can do the assignment and done, right? Anything else? Anything that for this lesson? Anything?
No, sir.
Okay. So you will have the. I think the presentation is there with you all, and so based on that, just your studies on. So I think we can. We will have the. I think IDM will open like in the first week of May or kind of like that. I don't know, like maybe because other universities are opening according to the government notice. I don't know. Like if it's so, this then we can have face-to-face classes, right? Okay. I think so. I'm just hoping. That's all, right?
So you're hoping that the institute will open?
Because other universities are going to open, because I don't know that management guys are there. So
Yes, I also heard that like they are going to start by next, I think 18th May.
I don't know. Like I don't know. Actually, I'm in gray area in everything, right? So I'm total dark. I'm in total dark. So because of that, like I'm just thinking, because like I'm evaluating and creating a new knowledge. That's all. Okay, evaluating what is happening, analyzing what is happening in the country, and evaluating. IDM is also a university kind of a thing. So then I'm creating a new idea and telling you it is going to open. That's all, right? Okay, good. Anything else? I hope not. Right? So shall we finish it off or what?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. No problem.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you,
Sumangal is
sir.
ready to
Thank
sleep.
you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice week.
Okay, thank you very much.
See you, sir.